game, I use a lot of buttons. In this case, I use it as a way to press it, and it makes the stage a little bit easier. As you can see, I click on it, goes down, go back out, and it makes the stage easier. I also use it as a way for people to donate. For example, when you buy this, it gets pressed down. Yeah, I know I'm a rich boy. I'm a rich robot. Comment down below, rich Robux boy. And I know you're thinking, you're like, you made a script inside of each one of these buttons. That's 5 buttons right there. And look at these categories. They have 25 stages, 25 stages, 20 stages, 23. That's almost 100 buttons. And you think I put a script inside each one of those buttons? Look at all these buttons. You think I put a script in here? No, I didn't. I'm going to show you the smart way of controlling many objects. I'll show you with a button, but you'll be able to use this with any object that you want to repeat multiple times, and you only have to do the coding for it one time in one script. It's amazing. You're like, wow, that must be really complicated. You must be some amazing programmer. That's the thing. I'm a terrible programmer, but I can still do it, and I'll show you how. It's really simple. Okay, first things first, I'm going to make a button. I'll just use this part that happened to be in here, so I'll do that real quick. So bam, we have our button. I named this part to button just so I know which part this is. We're going to group that all together. And now we're going to add a click detector into that button. So this is the part that gets clicked. And we have a script right here. I'm going to use that. It's empty already. Perfect. And I'm going to name this to a button also. First things first, we have to tag the object we want. I'll show you some different methods of doing that. One is go to the view tab, hit this little icon that looks like a tag. It says tag editor when you hover. And now you can add a new tag. And I'm going to name this button. And now I have this selected, right? I can click yes on that. I can check that. And now if I select the base plate, for example, that's not a button. This, I tagged it as a button because it is a button. That's important that you do it. Another method is if you go on the object and then you look at the tags section, it says button right here. I can delete that, or I can like add a new one. Just make the tag button. You can call it whatever you want, but obviously let's call it button because it's a button. We're going to use something called collection service, which is a service we can use to control many objects that do the same or similar things. And I'll show you how I use it to control many objects. First, I like to do services like this. I don't know how I got into the habit of doing that. I abbreviate it CS, ES game get service, collection service. And now from there, we can access any object that it belongs to a certain tag. And I'll show you how to do that. If you do collection service and the method get tagged and it takes in a string, for example, button, this will give us a table of every object that is tagged as a button. So if I do this right now, it'll give us just this object because this is the only object tagged as a button. But if I duplicate this part over and over and over again, you can scroll down and see it all keeps the same tags when you clone it. If I do collection service get tagged button now, it'll return all 4 of these parts as a table. So basically when you use the method of get tagged, it returns a table containing every object tagged as that thing. Even if I put this button in like, I don't know, inside a base plate, it doesn't matter where it is. I could put this button inside of the button, inside of the button, inside of the button. It doesn't matter. It'll return everything tagged as this button. It doesn't matter. This could have other tags like green stuff. It doesn't matter how many tags it has. As long as it has that tag, it'll be accounted for by this. And how do we access all the items in a table? We use a generic for loop. If you don't know what that is, I made a 5-minute video about it, so check that out if you'd like to know more. So for I, comma, I'll say button because that's what it is. Let's print out every button name and let's see how many times it prints it out. It should only do it one time because we only have one object tagged as button in this game. So let's go ahead and play. Or I should have just ran it, honestly, it's too late. See, one object. But if I have multiple objects like this, I have 5 of them. I have 5 buttons now. What do you think is going to be printed? Button times 5, because it found everything tagged with button, and all of these are tagged with button right here. So whenever you tag something as button, you can access it by using CS get tagged button, and everything tagged button will be returned as a table when you do this. And remember, we're just doing buttons, but you can do this for whatever you want. Okay, cool. Now we have a button. We have a list, accessed all the buttons. Now what do we do? After we access all the buttons, you can access the click detector. You can do something like local click detector equals button, which is the group. And then we can find first child button, like the actual part, and then find the click detector. Bam, we have access to the click detector, and now we can do click detector. And basically you can just do it like pretend you're just doing one button, and that's exactly what we're doing. But it's going to apply it to all of them because we put inside a loop that checks all of them. So it's just the same as you would do it for one button. You can do whatever you want from this point. I'll just show you what I did to make my buttons. And if I say button one more time, well, we could use the event for it to see when it's clicked by using mouse click. Is it mouse click or mouse clicked? It's mouse click. Connect function. And what do we want to happen when the button is clicked? For now, let's just print button was clicked. And I don't know why I do every letter capitalized. I'm a terrible person. Now we can't run that. We have to play that so we can click it. Oh my goodness, why is it so far away? That doesn't count as a click. Okay, I'm gonna click it now. Button was clicked, button was clicked, button was clicked. Perfect. That works with one part, but what's the point of doing this if you're only gonna have one object? Let me duplicate many of them again, and I'll show you that it works with all of them. And let me add a spawn point so I don't have to walk so far away. Wow, I thought my button was bigger. You see, I press this one, it prints it. I press this one, it prints it. I press this one, it prints it. I press this one, it all prints it. And why does it print it? Because they're all tagged as a button. And we programmed, hey, anything that's a button, look for a click detector in it. And when it's clicked, print this. Now there's some stuff I want to set up first. I want to add in some attributes. If you don't know what an attribute is, it's just like a property, but it doesn't do anything by default. It's basically like you can add a property. Like, I'll show you what I mean. I want to add a vector3 property for the clicked position of this button and another one for the unclicked position. And I added this into the group, by the way. Basically, this is going to be the position that I want the button to be when the button is clicked, and this is the position I want the button to be when it's not clicked. But I did an attribute because if you have a button over here and you have a button over here, it's going to be two different locations, right? They're both unclicked right now. No one's clicked them. Position for this part is this. Position for this part is that. And they're not the same position when they're unclicked. So I want everyone to have their own unique position. And I want to do that before the mouse is clicked. And it's going to stay the same the whole time, because the button, I don't plan on moving it. And let me label a little bit. First things first, I want to set the attributes of the unclicked and the clicked position. So right now the button is unclicked. This is the position I want it to have when the button is unclicked. But I can't just copy and paste this position and be like, oh, set it to this. Because remember, every button will be in a different location. I want each button to have its own unclicked position. So the way we do that is button, and we can set attribute by using this method. And first, what attribute do we want to change? It's called unclicked position, and we want to set that equal to whatever the button's position is. But remember, I have to do button.button because the first button refers to the group, second button refers to the part, and that's the position I want to get. And then I want to do the same thing for the clicked position. So when the button's clicked, I want it to be like pushed down a little bit, you know? How far did I push that down? I don't know. We can say like, let's see. I want to push down like maybe one stud. Yeah, I think that's fine. So the way we do that, change this to click position. And then you can either add -1 or just -1. New in the Y direction, 0. And the reason we did it like this is if I move the button over here, it'll still work. If I move it over here, it'll take its current position and -1 for its click position, and it'll still work. No matter where we move the button now, it'll work. And no matter how many buttons we have, it'll work. First, I'm gonna make a variable for local button part so we don't get confused so much with button, blah, 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 blah. Set that equal to button.button. And everywhere we wrote button.button, just write button part. And now what I want it to do is whenever this part is clicked, I want it to go down and then wait a few seconds and then come back up. Like, you know, pressing a button, like what happened if you press a button. So we want button part.position to equal the button.get attribute click position, because remember we set the click position to be whatever the position is -1, so it'll go down one stud, and then we're gonna task.wait, I don't know, 3 seconds, and then we want it to move back up to the unclicked position. And also let's change the color of the button part too. Button part.color, color3.new. We can make it gray. And if you don't know about colors, I made a video about that too. If you want me to make a more in-depth video about what's this called, attributes, let me know and I can explain it better. I don't know if I did it justice in this video, but it's a pretty simple concept. I want it to go back to being neon green RGB middle one, and let's test this out. Click it, goes down, turns gray, and pops back up. Actually, I don't want it the same gray. Let me make this a little lighter gray. So you click it, it goes, whoa, that is too light. That is too light. Click it, goes down, pops back up. But what happens if you spam it? If you spam it, see, it'll be glitchy and it'll come up and stuff in weird ways. We gotta prevent that. We can do that with an attribute, and we can just name it clicked and make it a boolean. Basically, whenever the button is down, we want to check this to true. Whenever the button is up, we want to check it to false. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory. We only want the button to be pressed down if the button isn't pressed down already, right? So we can do this by checking. If button get attribute click is equal to false, then so if the button has not been clicked yet, then we can click it, and we can change the button's attribute to turn the clicked to be on. And then after all is said and done, we can change it back to false so that the button can be clicked again. Whoopsie daisy, I meant set. Set, because here we're setting it to true and setting it to false. And it's get when you want to check it. And let's see if, and it's clicked on when it's clicked, and then turns off, perfect. And I'm spamming it, and it's not glitching out all over the place because I can only click it when this is a false. I can click it now. I can click it all I want now, but it's not doing any of the script we told it to do here. And again, let's go ahead and put multiple buttons to make sure that it works all well. Click that button, I can click that button, I can click that button, perfect. It's like whack-a-mole. You're like, oh, eyes, why are you always testing with one button and then making multiple? You can just keep the multiple buttons there. Aren't you doing them all at the same time? Yeah, I know, but I'm just used to practicing on one at a time. Keep it simple, you know? It's all good. And yeah, you keep your script outside the button. You only need one script. Don't multiply your script. And that's the end of the simple version if you just want a button that goes down like that. But if you want to get a little more advanced, we're going to get into tweening. So if you know about tweening, I have some videos about it. I'll link those too. So I won't go too in depth into it right now, but I'll go over enough that if you just need a refresher, you'll be fine. Gotta get the tween service, get service, and do our tweening up here, because why not? We can make a local tween info equal to tweeninfo.new, and then I always like to fill all this out. You don't need to, or you can just can always write tween info and then change the specific style or whatever. But I just fill it all out. I don't know, I just like it. How long do we want this to go down for? I don't know, 2 seconds. Easing style, let's do elastic. I want the direction to be out. I feel like it works better for a button to go out. It makes more sense, I feel like. And repeat, I don't want it to repeat, and I don't want it to reverse. Actually, that would make sense if it reversed, but it's fine, we can reverse it later. Okay, so that tween info is going to be the same for every button. Let's do our goals in here. So I'm going to delete the part that positions it, because we're going to be using the tweening for that. So remember, this section before the wait is the button going down. This section after the wait is the button going back up to where it was. So let's make the button go back down. Let's make the button go down when clicked. So out here, I can write the goals for the tween. I'll do goals A equal position equal to the button get attribute. And remember, we want it to go down first. So that would be the clicked, what is it called? Click position? Yeah, clicked position. And then goals B is going to be the same thing, but for the unclicked position. And we can go ahead and create the tweens. Local tween A equals tween service, create button part is the part we're affecting. The tween info we made, and goals A. And it's the same thing except change the A to a B, like my grades. So fun. And here we can go ahead and tween A, play that. Tween B, go ahead and play that as well. And let's test it out, see if it works. I bet it won't work, because I bet I did something wrong. Watch. Oh, it actually works. Wow. That's kind of satisfying. See how it goes underneath too much? And it goes up too much. Since the button is going to be underground, we can just make it a little bigger, taller this way. Scaling it with control so that it keeps the same position in the Y direction. It's a little taller now, but I don't mind it. It'll be worth it to look good with the elastic effect. Pretty cool, huh? Let me just make the faceplate transparent so you can't see the button seeping through the bottom. Let's add multiple buttons everywhere. We have a pyramid of buttons. Test out, see if all our buttons work. Bam, 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 bam. Pretty cool, huh? Oh, this elastic is so satisfying. I'm not gonna lie. I love this right now. Just pressing the buttons is satisfying. And I just did it with buttons. You can do it for some other examples. Really anything. I use this all the time. Even for the stages, like you saw in the game, I had almost 100 stages. I just use this for the stages, so I don't have to write code for every single stage. I just write code for one stage, and it works for all of them, as we did with the button. Press the button, and you can make it do other stuff too, obviously, like open a door or whatever. I know I did some stuff wrong, like animating in the server. People are against that. It makes it laggy, but it's a button, okay? It won't lag. It's 10 buttons, okay? It'll be fine. There's nothing else here. But yeah, if I did other stuff, if there's simpler ways, if you can think of better ways to do what I did, I'm not the best programmer. I know that. You won't hurt my feelings. Just let me know, like, hey, could have done this better. Be like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. You'll be like, should you even have your own YouTube channel then, teaching people how to code? I'll be like, I don't really know the best way to do everything, but I know a little bit, you know? I'm not the best, but I know something. They'll be like, yeah, but if you don't know the best way of doing things, you probably shouldn't be teaching people how to do it. But then I'll be like, you can go into the document. I'm following the documentation now. I'm learning literally from Roblox, teaching people directly from the source. So I'm doing my best to learn the right way to do things so I can teach other people. And then you'll be like, just because it's on Roblox doesn't mean it's the best way to show people. And I'll be like, I think Roblox knows more than you. And you'll be like, no. So anyways, that's how you do it. Let me know what you think of this video. 37 lines of code for infinite buttons, I think, is a pretty good deal. If there's anything else you want to see a video about, let me know. Oh, that game you saw at the beginning, it should be out for testing right now. And if it's not, it'll be out soon as a real game. If you're playing it during the testing, let us know any feedback you have. If anything goes wrong, please let us know. That's the main reason we're testing it. And if you have any feedbacks for the game or any ideas for categories, there's a giant mailbox in the game. You can go ahead and write your feedback ideas there and we will read them. And thank you for testing the game out. I think that was everything. Yeah, any other ideas? I love programming. I love everything Roblox game development. So if you have any ideas, let me know. I have a lot of fun creating things like this. And I think that's everything. God bless all of you.